So this week is a big one because we are pouring the new concrete slab inside the stone cabin. And it's been a bit of a job getting here. Removing the old floor and digging down was a lot more labour intensive than we initially thought. We've had to break down the concrete, break down and cut some really big stones that were underneath the floor, as well as digging up a load of soil to try and get us down further to allow us to get some space for insulation, and remove it all by hand. And it was a lot to remove. So last week we finished up our sub base and got all that nicely compacted, as well as adding our damp-proof membrane to make sure that new floor is going to stay dry from damp. But before we can start laying our new concrete slab, we need to get in our steel reinforcement. Oh yeah, and it's Christmas in 2 days' time, so we're up against it.
Are you working up a sweat?
Yeah, hot. Lovely winter's morning.
It seems a bit backwards to be cutting it all down, only to have to join them again once we get it in the building, but it's really the only way we're getting it through that weeny little door of ours. You might have picked up with my bunged up dulcet tones that I've got a right stinker of a cold at the minute, and as an early Christmas present to Ricky that he didn't ask for, I think I've actually given it him because he's got quite a scratchy throat today, but we probably ought to be resting. But we got the stuff delivered for this floor and we've got a week off over Christmas, so we just really want to get it done because then over that Christmas week it can have all the time it needs to cure and go off without us wanting to go over it. So just 48 hours that we need to power through, and it'll feel so good once it's done.
So Victoria's just adding in, we bought these little gizmos. We wanted kind of a traditional rebar chair, like I'll put a picture here like this, but we couldn't get them here apart from buying them online. Our kind of local shop said that it's really common here to use these because they basically can use them either to support rebar horizontally, or you can put it on a cage and have it kind of that way so it keeps the distance from your form on the vertical columns. The main issue that we've got with these is that they only had one size and they're a bit too big for what we need. So kind of where this top part comes, it's not really going to give us enough coverage of concrete over the top of it. So last night I sat down with a pair of snippers, enjoyed a beautiful sunset, and I chopped them all down so it's going to give us ample space for the concrete to pass over the top. And that's left us with kind of a thing looking like this. Not the prettiest thing, but it'll serve its purpose.
Yeah. To me.
That's it. So there we go, our rebar mesh is now down and in place. It was pretty awkward because the gaps, the spaces on them are very, very tight, but they're in. Right, Mrs. Claus, are you gonna...
Rudolph.
Are you gonna pop out and go and get our Christmas dinner sorted?
I am. I'm hoping it's not going to be too busy because, yeah, it's pretty close to Christmas, but it's all part of the Christmas festivities, isn't it?
Just get elbowing people out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way. Achoo! That'll clear the room.
So I've just made 3 of these kind of platforms, I guess you can call them. They feel like such a silly solution, but neither of us could think of anything else to do to make sure that that rebar doesn't move around, because the last thing we want is to have, you know, screeded off and flattened out one area, got that level, and then step on the rebar on the other end and it kind of jiggle and move it all again and have to go back and redo that same area. So I've put these kind of skinny-ish legs on and I've spaced them so they're going to fit between the grids on the rebar mesh, and we've also got ample height so we're going to easily clear everything.
This week we're partnering with Reno to talk about the UFO 3, a deep hydration facial device and the newest member of the UFO collection. I absolutely love this thing. It's become an essential part of my skincare routine. I've been using it for months and I've noticed my complexion's more even, my fine lines have reduced, and my skin's never been this hydrated. It's very simple to use. You just select a mask, place it over the device, secure it, and then you're good to go. It's got a heating and cooling element. The heat gently warms and softens the skin so that it can absorb the ingredients deeper to where they're most effective. The cool helps to reduce puffiness and also tightens the skin, which is really effective to use underneath your eyes. It also massages with gentle pulsations. You might be able to hear it. Right on cue. This helps to boost your blood flow and your circulation and leaves you with a healthy glow. It's also very relaxing. It uses LED therapy to boost your body's collagen production, and each of the colours has a particular focus. I popped back to the UK to visit family recently, and after I've been on the plane, my skin was extremely dehydrated and just generally a little bit frazzled. So I used the yellow LED to brighten and even out my complexion, and instantly my skin just looks so much more refreshed and plump. To experience the benefits of the UFO 3 for yourself, click our link in the description to get 30% off. Plus, the first 50 people who use our code LBL10 will receive an additional 10% off.
It works. I still feel a bit funny prancing around on these in here, but if it means that the rebar doesn't move and we get a good slab at the end of it, then that's all good. I mean, it's not the first time I've looked stupid on the internet, is it? Let's be honest. Right, so now I need to get some wire in and start tying all of these different pieces together. I cannot get over how much quicker it is tying these together with this little tool. When we were doing the ring beam and the cages, the rebar cages for that, we couldn't get hold of any of these, basically like pre-cut little rebar tying wires. So we were manually cutting off a big spool and then just tying them up by hand. It was pretty time consuming. I mean, this little tool I've got right here, you just whip it in, whiz it around, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, they're tied. I've got quite a few of these to do, so I am going to whiz through, get them all done, and we'll pick you up again tomorrow morning when we'll be starting the slab pour. Feeling a little bit nervous about tomorrow, but I'm sure it's all going to go smoothly. Happy 2025, everyone. As you've probably already gathered, our attempt to get this concrete slab poured before Christmas did not go to plan. I'll explain everything that happened and what we've been doing between then and now in a little bit. First of all, we need to get going, get these cement mixers going and start mixing. Thankfully, our cement survived weeks of being outside in the rain, and it's still soft like my post-Christmas belly.
I wondered where you were going with that.
Right, so Victoria's got a couple of mixes going, and while she's doing that, it gives me a good opportunity to catch you up with what we've been up to. So, why did we not get the slab poured before Christmas? So we woke up on Christmas Eve and Victoria was at the peak of her fluey coldness, and she just wasn't up to it. And we just both kind of agreed, let's just chill out, get ready for Christmas, have a relaxing-ish day. And yeah, that's what we did. We then woke up the next day. Victoria was a bit better, thankfully. We had Christmas, had a very nice Christmas, ate ourselves silly. Peak of the Christmas Day television was definitely the Gavin and Stacey finale.
Oh, Barmer. Oh, Sama.
I don't actually know if that programme is remotely successful in any other countries, so all of you out there from different countries to the UK, please let me know. And then in the space between Christmas and New Year, we actually went to Lisbon for 4 days. The four of us with my friend Mark to celebrate my birthday and have a little Christmas getaway. We had a cracking time, but it was way busier than we thought it was going to be. I'm guessing lots of people wanted to go there for Christmas and for the New Year celebrations. And then almost immediately after getting back from Lisbon, I got sick. And yeah, it took me about 3 or 4 days to get over that. And that pretty much brings us to today. So there you go. You're all caught up. You're up to speed. We really need to crack on because time's getting on and we've got a lot to do. But yeah, hope you all had a lovely Christmas and a good New Year. Let's crack on and get pouring this new floor.
It's all looking a little bit bonkers with all these stepping stone situations in here. Are they actually working well?
Yeah.
Am I allowed in?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Hello. Yeah, I do feel a bit like I'm on a magic carpet.
All right, Aladdin. Another interesting gadget.
Yeah, I'm only using this as like a bit of a guide in the first instance. So from this line down to the bottom side of this basically tells me the line of where I want the top of the concrete to go. So if I put that on top of the concrete, then where the laser level's set up, where's the line? There. That tells me I've done 100mm slab. I'm only really using it at the beginning whilst we haven't got enough material down to use the long straight edge. Once that's down and I know that's level, we can kind of work off of that and I won't need to refer to my laser stick as much. I've actually been pulling out these little rebar chairs that we cut because it's just leaving the mesh that little bit too high. Ideally, you want the mesh to be nearer to the bottom of the slab because that's where it's the weakest, and these were just pushing it up too high. So I'm kind of leaving them all in, pouring a bit of concrete in. Once there's some gravelly concrete underneath it, pulling these out, and then the mesh can kind of drop a bit more nearer to the bottom. They were literally pennies a piece and we only bought 50 of them, so we've lost about €5 on that. Not the end of the world.
What should we do? We're just going to carry on and try and get it to a point?
I think so. The rain is getting heavier. I've got pretty wet today.
It's just drizzling, and it has been for hours. But yeah, Victoria's kind of catching the bum end of this weather.
I want to clarify, Ricky has offered multiple times for me to go indoors and him come outside, but honestly, I don't want the responsibility.
Yeah, so we're at kind of an awkward point at the moment. We've done over half, but I think if we can get to about 2/3 and we've done the lion's share of it, that'll be a good point to finish it today, and we'll pick it up again in a couple of days' time because it's meant to be torrential downpours tomorrow, so that's definitely a no-no. Right, should we see these little espressos off and then we'll crack on? Guess we got an espresso machine at Christmas.
Well, I think it's fair to say that it hasn't been the most ideal weather conditions for tackling this today. I'm saturated, but I am done for the day. Ricky's just finishing up the last of the mix, and it's looking pretty damn good. We're probably about 60 or 70% of the way there, so we'll come back in a couple of days and get it done.
Another wet day today, super foggy one. Hopefully it can stay dry enough for us to get this slab completed.
Yeah, we are going to get it completed today, and hopefully I'm going to stay a little bit drier than the other day because I was absolutely saturated.
I mixed up a really sloppy slurry of cement, water and a bonding agent, and then I've kind of slapped it all over with a paintbrush to the edge of the concrete we poured the other day. Hopefully that's gonna make a good bond between the concrete poured 2 days ago and the concrete we're gonna pour today and make it all as one.
We're on the final stretch now, so close. How are those forearms doing?
Forearms are fine. My knees killing me, even with that. It's, yeah, not easy on the knees.
quick question. How are you gonna get out of here? You've made yourself into an island.
Yeah, well, the more I've done that bit by the door, I think I'm gonna, now that this is hard enough, I'm just gonna work my way back in this direction and I'll go out the window, because trying to get around the door is really awkward. It's gonna be easier just to shut it and come back.
Through this whole job we've had rain and grey skies, but the sun has finally come out, so I'm taking that as a good omen. We're done, and it looks great. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I mean, for a first attempt at ever laying a slab, I think it's turned out pretty decent. I mean, you can obviously see where I've been troweling it all off and smoothing it all off, but we knew you were going to have that anyway, because really you should come back and do that a bit later, and obviously we couldn't because of access. Also, it's a subfloor. You're never going to see it. Anyway, it's going to be covered up, so happy days. Oh, one thing, pass the camera here. This is very satisfying.
I'm intrigued. Go on.
New floor, level.
I'm intrigued how you're going to be getting out of this.
I'm just hoping I can jump up on this sill. It's quite high. Right, here we go. Easy, easy.
Very graceful.
Oh, job done.
I'm so glad that that job is done. It was a bit of a full-on way to start the year, but this year is off to a good start.
It is indeed. Good job, champ. Give it a warm down.
I can't hold the camera still at the best of times.